Look up TV. There's just a lot that we're going to talk about this morning. A lot is going on in the country towards the end of the year, and we do know that 2 days from now. So tomorrow is the Friday of the week, because 12th December is a holiday as well. So a long weekend that we're looking forward to. So all your plans that you had for this weekend, know that you can achieve them in the next couple of days, because the weekend is just started just after tomorrow, isn't it? So Thursday is the last working day for this week. December it is. A lot of farmers are complaining about the lack of rainfall during this period. If you was like some of us who went to the farms and planted without proper plans for irrigation, then you do know exactly what's going on. We are crying a lot because we're going through a lot of losses currently as it is. Across the country, there's been a lack of rainfall. For those who live in the good places in this Nairobi, then 2 days ago, you must have experienced some bit of rainfall in your area. Other than that, this morning, we asked the question, is there a vacuum within the Orange Democratic Movement Party in the country? Obubu Odinga has spoken. Kalonzo Musyoka has been speaking. And also this morning, as we start our conversation, Rigathi Gachagua has also been speaking. And he says he is the most influential man in the country, as it were. He says there are no permanent enemies as it stands, and if he goes back to the government, sort of if there was an opportunity to work with Dr. President William Ruto, he says he's got the biggest vote move than any other candidate in that broad-based government. Do you agree? Those are the two questions I'm asking you this morning. You can join us online at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. Talk to us. The number that you can talk to us also is right there on your screen. Our WhatsApp line, talk to us, say hi to us this morning, tell us exactly where you're watching us from, and that's exactly how you can get to participate on our show this morning. Participate in our show this morning. Good. Let's take a look at the dailies this morning, shan't we? As usual, we begin with the Daily Nation this morning. The big headline here is Ruto ministers to lead 2027 poll campaigns. That's exactly what this headline is talking about. Page 4 and 5 this morning, talking about the game plan. They are buoyed by the recent victory in 7 parliamentary by-elections. President William Ruto has tasked cabinet secretaries to take charge of his re-election campaigns in their respective regions in a move that is likely to wrong-foot the opposition. Story has been covered on page 4 and 5. By the way, it's not uncommon, because we've even seen some of the broad-based cabinet secretaries attend party politics as it stands, and the constitution is quite clear really on that cabinet secretaries might play some party politics, but they are also barred from playing politics across the country. Whether that's the gray area that the president is looking at this morning by sending or tasking his cabinet secretaries to lead his campaigns, is just for us to just see exactly what it is talking about. This morning as well, let's look at story on page 2. A deserted street in Dar es Salaam. Now, that's the pictures that we're going to see this morning on this newspaper. Tanzanian lockdown subdues Independence Day protests. I mean, we've seen it as well in this country. It's not uncommon in Africa, because Tanzania was supposed to celebrate their Independence Day yesterday, and there were allegedly planned protests across the country, and the government said only essential workers were supposed to be on the road yesterday. The rest of them, they were told, get in your house, no coming out. And Tanzania yesterday was completely empty in the streets. Of course, a couple of people went out to protest, as we're going to see from our trends this morning, but this is exactly what it was, you know. There were also Kenyan activists who were arrested outside the Tanzanian embassy in Nairobi following a botched demonstration. Hata hapa Nairobi. Yeah? Tanzania ilisema hata kama mko huko tutakujia huko. So I'm wondering who arrested the Kenyan activists at the Tanzanian embassy right in Nairobi. Interesting times that we live in, isn't it? Yeah, that story has been covered on page 2 of the Daily Nation. On page 3, you're going to see how the state has been indicted over worsening human rights violations across the country, extrajudicial killings and forced disappearances, abductions and shrinking civic freedoms continue to cast a dark shadow over Kenya, according to a government watchdog. That story has been covered on page 3. Now, members of parliament are also backing extra 5 billion for teachers' promotions. Good news for those who are in the teaching profession. That story has been covered on page 6. Let's then cross over to the Standard this morning, see what is covered on this daily as well. There's an ID scandal. That's what is being covered here. And this is what they're talking about. The arrest of 26 suspects in a fast-growing citizenship for sale racket has added fresh urgency to concerns that President Ruto's decision to scrap security vetting for ID applications in northern Kenya and other border counties has opened a dangerous loophole. Critics who warned the decree would be exploited now feel vindicated as racketeers, rogue clerks and middlemen collude to dish out Kenyan nationality at a fee. Investigations say Northeastern has emerged as one of the biggest beneficiaries of the fraud, with criminal networks exploiting the relaxed rules to slip foreigners through the system and undermine national security. You can see some of those who've been arrested here, all of them, well, majority of them with a Somali origin. And it is what it is, isn't it? All the way from Judy Kemunto, those registered persons in Embakasi, all the way to Ruth Osebe, Geoffrey Mokoro, you know, David Koreil, Mohammed Isaac. There's also Jawadir Mohammed. Some of those faces that you're seeing on the Standard this morning as those who've been arrested and behind this scandal. That story has been covered on page 5, on 4 and 5 of the Standard this morning. Financial Standard this morning, what is it talking about? It's talking about why members of parliament halted Dar Tycoon's cement deal. That story has also been covered on page 24 and 25 of the Financial Standard this morning as well. All right, on that note then, we're going to look at some of the issues that you are waking up to this morning in terms of your trends. So what we're going to do then is exactly jump into the first issue that we have for you this morning. And this one is basically, in fact, let's take a look at the clip, then come back and talk about it this morning, because that's the best way then for us to start this conversation. All right, here we go.
These initiatives, and specifically this one, belongs to Kenya.
Not a single of the 150 rhinos that we are releasing today is going to be threatened.
We will ensure communities are not spectators in this journey, but stakeholders in Kenya's green future. Our government is clear that natural capital is economic capital.
Wakenya wote mmekaribishwa Tsavo West National Park, kuje mjionee nyinyi wenyewe.
Now, I'll tell you where this clip is coming from. This is an event that was that went down yesterday, led by the State House, Nairobi, where President William Ruto opened the vastly expanded Tsavo West Rhino Sanctuary in Ngulia, Taita Taveta County, growing it from 92 to 3,200 square kilometers, now the world's largest protected rhino range. Started 40 years ago with just 3 rhinos. It now supports over 200 black rhinos, with new surveillance boosting breeding and security. Ruto also announced luxury hotels charging from $500 to $1,000 per night to create over 18,000 jobs and billions in local revenue by 2030, while critics question if it truly benefits communities or grabs land within the national park. That is the summary of that event right there. And this is what the president said yesterday. 5 new high-end hotels will be built at Tsavo West Rhino Sanctuary. Tourists will be paying between $500 and $1,000 per night. We have invested too much for someone to experience all that at a cheap cost. Okay, good. So let's look at some of the reactions of Kenyans on this announcement. This is Rebecca Miano, who's saying she was honored to have joined President Dr. William Ruto in the historic launch of the Tsavo West Rhino Sanctuary that expands to 3,000 square kilometers. Now the sanctuary has effectively expanded from 92 to 3,000, all the way to talking about as a ministry how they are affirming their commitment to transparent governance, ensuring communities are the foremost beneficiaries of this expansion. Now the bounty for nature will contribute fortunes to our national progress. All right. Now let's see exactly what Kenyans are talking about then on this one. This one is Julius, who's saying one of the easiest ways to acquire large parcels of land in Kenya is through the rhino conservation efforts. Great job, Waziri. This is Karoki Waweru, who's saying that I hope this is not a land grabbing that Ruto is trying inside the national park. The Ngulia Rhino Sanctuary has been there for years. A 3,200 rhino sanctuary inside a national park? Question. Mugambi was saying, who owns those hotels? Tell us who is behind the scene. All right. This is MK. Another community land stolen with the name of rhinos protection. This is the best form of thieving land. Finally then, on this one, they are celebrating natives' land be taken. Who owns Tsavo West Rhino Sanctuary? Now, on the back of that launch, there was a very funny clip that was witnessed yesterday, because one rhino that was being taken into the sanctuary ran riot. And keen Kenyans realized that part of those who were screaming behind that little scare was President Dr. William Ruto, was very, very close to where those rhinos were being released. Let's watch that clip and then come back and also see what Kenyans are talking about it. Yeah, Kenyans, you guys are not good, because some of the comments that are coming from this particular one, I don't know whether I should be reading it on national television this morning. It doesn't look good, because I would just say President Ruto had a tense but memorable moment in Tsavo West when a newly freed rhino suddenly ran towards the van. And you can see it was very, very close to it. Even the camera person, you can see how they were a bit, scared, because you can see where he is. And the rhino was just about here. You can see where he is, and it's getting released here. So he turned back and went back to him. And you could hear those screams in the background about... Yes, and finally you can hear him laughing. But let me tell you, it's what Kenyans are saying online about this one. That's a man who's scared beyond his wits. Hapo hata security hawezi kusaidia bwana. The security labda hata ina gana hapo ya ku stop rhino. Well, I'll just read one. Bwana Frida, huwezi sema eti imagine saizi ningekuwa disco matanga. Okay. Can't look at that scene and talk about your president like that, boy. Yeah? Yeah? All right. This is at Kanyeve. Imagine he would have done the deed and completed it. Iti ya Mungu, that rhino would have a monument hapo CBD and be on our currency. Wewe bwana, angalia currency yenyu vizuri. Kuna marhino. Ni nini wewe? Kanyeve, iti holiday missed. It's not good. I'm just going to leave it there, because if I continue to read some of the clips, some of the comments that majority of Kenyans are putting forward, it doesn't really stand properly. Now, we do know that Tanzania yesterday was celebrating its Independence Day, and some of the clips that are coming from there aren't good to see. Let's just watch a couple of them and then come see exactly what it is that Kenyans are talking about from here. This is partly what we saw yesterday. Look at these empty streets in Tanzania. This is the capital, and you can see exactly what's going on there. No people at all, absolutely empty. And this is after the Tanzania declared that unless you are an essential worker, wewe si kama mtu wa essential ni watu wanaenda hospitali, I don't know whether journalists are essential workers. I don't know where we categorize ourselves. Lakini kama hauko kwa essential worker, wewe kama si mtu wa maji, stima, chakula, health, security, kaa nyumbani bwana. And this is exactly what followed an empty capital in Dar es Salaam, and it doesn't good. All right, let's just play this one and then see exactly what these guys were talking about. Hapa wanasema uchaguzi.
Hizi ni ngao zetu, Afrika na watu wake, ibariki Afrika, ibariki Afrika, wabariki watoto Afrika, Mungu ibariki Tanzania, dumisha uhuru na umoja kwake kwa waume na watoto. Mungu ibariki Tanzania na watu wake, ibariki Tanzania, ibariki Tanzania, ibariki watoto wa Tanzania.
As you can see, some Tanzanians managed to go to the street yesterday, and these are the placards they were having about wanataka uchaguzi urudiwe, tangu huru. You can see those placards right there, and that paints the picture of what was going on the ground yesterday for any other person then who will know then. It's not a good picture, isn't it? So just a couple of sentiments here from Daniel Rega, who's saying African leaders fear and detest protests above everything else, and they claim to serve the people. No? All right, this is Patu saying what is happening in Dar es Salaam is worrying, locking people indoors instead of letting them express themselves freely. only reopens old wounds from darker moments in Tanzanians' past. If Independence Day requires silencing citizens, then something is deeply wrong with the state of freedom in that country. All right, this is KYK who's saying, but some streets of people already flocked to the streets. Yes, indeed, as you could see from that clip we just played for you right there. Omwami this morning was saying, you see, when you see Tanzania demonstrating, you know something is not right. That country is the most peaceful that I've ever known, all right? I mean, when was the last time Tanzania was in such a situation? It's indeed true. You cannot trace the last time when Tanzania was in such a situation. It's true, indeed, from what we've seen right there. So the last issue that I want us to talk about this morning is a lady who's created headlines in the country. She said she's going to break a record for hugging a tree for 72 hours. It's happening in Nyeri, all right? And even the governor was there just to, you know, I don't know, celebrate with her or achieve this with her or say that we are together in it. If you listen to her, she's got a lot of reasons. Saying she has many reasons as to why she's doing this. Part of that is she says she's realized that the country has a lot of negativity in it, you know. That's part of the reason as to why she's out as well. She's also pointing another picture. She has another 48-hour record that she also wants to break. So part of that is exactly what we're seeing here. And let me just read some of the comments that are coming through from this one as well. This is Wise Fool. When I come to a Man United, you know, MUFC, anasema mnasema determined na maybe mtu anachizi. No, sidhani kama anachizi. She's not running mad. She's full of she's of sound mind. Nyeri to the world. There's just a lot that Kenyans are speaking about here. You think she can break that record, by the way? Yes, because she still holds the record. For ODM, as kept on saying, that there's no vacuum within ODM. We're going to talk about that this morning. But most importantly as well, look at exactly what the other leaders in that sphere have been talking about as regards this particular topic. But I can see a lot of Kenyans also want us to talk about what happened yesterday. When I keep on saying, Chelsea is not worth our conversation. Well, you beat Arsenal 1-1, fine. But then after that, you go in and draw, Leeds beats you. Then Atlanta beats you. How do you lose to a City? I'm so sorry, man. I know you're probably feeling the pain this morning, but we're not going to talk about it. I mean, there are bigger issues to talk about here this morning. Maresca is trending. And, I mean, football fans. Your manager loses 2 games, and now you want Maresca sacked? It's the same thing that I'm saying with Arteta. Arteta lost 1 game after going 18 matches unbeaten. 18. In that process, you've beaten Bayern, you've beaten Atletico Madrid, you know, you've beaten Tottenham, you've beaten Newcastle away, and then you lose 1 game to Aston Villa last weekend, and now Arteta has to go. It doesn't work like that. I mean, Amorim is still a Man United coach, and Slot is still a Liverpool coach. So Chelsea fans, I'm sorry, he's still there to stay with you. All right, On that note, I'll bet we take a tiny breather right here on the Morning Drift. Once we come back, the conversation is just going to go all the way to the submissions we've seen from top ODM leaders. The question being, is there a vacuum in ODM? Once we come back, let's table that conversation and make sense of what top leaders across the country have been talking about the Orange Democratic Movement. Good morning.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hawa sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, "Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more."
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
For you to forgive someone who has hurt you? How easy is it? What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. They look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Pindi tu taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Drift. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. Thank you very much for making your time for us this morning. There's so much to talk about, especially at a time when political parties in the country are closing shop for the year. A lot of lessons to take home in as regards what they need to do for next year. And we do know that once we start 2026, I mean, every other person knows that 1 year, 2 elections, campaigns officially begin across the country. What we're seeing from a lot of political parties right now is just taking stock of the just concluded by-elections in the country, which, as you can say, went the broad-based government side. This morning, though, we want to look at what is going on within ODM, and there's been a lot of conversations all over the week from last weekend up to where we are right now, and the conversation around this party is whether indeed there is a vacuum within that party. This morning then, we do expect Alfred Mumbo to join us this morning from the Kenya Young Turks. We also do have in the studio one Jared Oyer, who is from the ODM Youth League. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you very much, Simba.
Happy to have you around. Just before we get back to him then, let's look at exactly where we are in this, I like to call it, situation. Now, there are seemingly tensions between Dr. Oburu Oginga, who is the party leader, who insists the succession is settled and stable. That's where we are. And he insists there is no vacuum, and a mix of Azimio allies, that is Kalonzo, and internal reformists, that is Orengo, and the youth who feel the party is drifting or becoming dictatorial. That's exactly where we begin this morning. And this is what Dr. Oburu Oginga Odinga is saying. There is no rearrangement needed. And he says there's no need for the party to meet and rearrange things within the party. He says, what are you rearranging? All right? His message was clear. The hierarchy is set, and he is in charge. That's where we begin this morning. Now, even before I cross over then to Oyer, and as we wait for one Mr. Mumbo to walk into the studio as well, if you go back to the ODM at 20 celebrations in Mombasa, One, Winnie Odinga stood up and claimed that the party leadership, through his uncle, would not steer the party into the broad-based party conversations. She felt that it was time for the party to call for a national delegates conference and hold party elections and come up with new leaders who would spearhead the party into these broad-based government conversations. In fact, she insisted that that conversation was so complicated that the only person who understood it was one, the late Raila Amolo Odinga. The rest of them couldn't understand it. Let me begin like this, then, Oyar.
Yes.
Is there a vacuum within ODM?
Elijah, where we are, I am a delegate in ODM party from the Youth League. Where we are as a political party, ODM, we are not having any vacuum. And I think for the longest time, this is the only party in this country that has have complete leadership. And where we are again as a political party, ODM, we had party leader Raila Amolo Odinga, who was deputized by other 3 capable leaders. When Baba was promoted to glory 2 months ago, the Central Management Committee sat down in their wisdom. They settled on Dr. Buru Oginga Odinga.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, where we were, because we were in a very unique situation, that some of us, not only from the ODM party, but the citizenry of this country, had not believed that the enigma, CGH Raila Amolo Odinga, could have left. And when Raila Amolo Odinga was promoted to glory, we also had a plan. The ODM agenda that we have just touched on was a work on progress for the ODM to celebrate its 20 years of resilience and existence.
That's it.
The party, ODM, at that point, we wanted and were in a greater need of someone who could have stabilized the ship. And this, we were finding it in Dr. Buru Oginga Odinga. In wisdom, age, and experience that you have had around, he has been around for some good time. So the vacuum that Raila Amolo Odinga left, and the shoe, as Dr. Buru Odinga was putting it, is very big, yes, to be fit. But he's trying to stabilize the orange movement.
Mm-hmm.
You see, this is a big monster. And where we were, if we could have stayed longer without having that seat occupied, we could have been very awkward situation today. So Dr. Buru Oginga, with this experience and being one of the longest politician around, is in good position to bring that experience, to bring that stability, and to stable the ship, the orange movement ship, into the future.
That's it.
So there's no vacuum in the orange party.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, let me take you back to the sentiments of one Winnie Odinga. You would tell me whether that's the vacuum that majority of the party members within ODM are saying now. And she said, look here, these broad-based government conversations are complex. That the only person who truly understood how to steer the party within these confines of the broad-based government conversations was one Raila Amolo Odinga. But then she goes on to say he is no more. And we feel that the best way possible now for us as a party is to hold party elections so that we could get leaders who could come in with new terms and negotiation levels. Why would she feel like that and talk to the uncle directly and tell him, look here, we don't think you're capable?
Orange Democratic Movement, the deal is democracy. Her Excellency Honorable Kazi Winnie Odinga is right.
It is not a family affair conversation.
That's it.
This is a party for the people. This is a movement that was born, as Winnie Odinga was putting it, I think, recent. I can't remember the exact event. That this party was formed and conceptualized out of the struggle from the street. It was not a family conversation or a family table where it was made. Our sentiment was not being directed to Dr. Buru at that moment. As an uncle, but as a party leader. Now where we are, we must also follow up that how did Dr. Buru Odinga came to be the party leadership before ratification, which was done in Mombasa by the NGC, that is the National Governing Council. I think I've just touched on it. That it was the Central Management Committee. This is the highest, one of the high-ranking party organ that runs the party day in, day out today. Because if you come to the NGC, which is very large and complex, we can't be able to meet daily to check and recheck the progress and operations of the party ODM.
That's it.
So when Winnie Odinga stood up to say that we need to have an NGC, NGC ought to have been there. Actually, it was one of the programs which was to be there during the Mombasa 20, before Baba left for Dubai, for India, if you can remember, in our program. But things changed because we couldn't have NGC and we're still having an election in progress. There are counties that have not done their elections.
That's it.
ODM was in the process of doing elections. If you're very keen, we have done all the we call them the branch elections. That is the constituencies, and then we were to move to the counties. Like I'm from Nairobi County. We haven't done the Nairobi County elections. So we were not going to have, I'll say, legitimate or a whole-house NGC without other counties holding the elections. This is one of the reasons why the NGC, the NDC was deferred to later date. But again, we strongly believe that this is a work in progress. We show that we are going to have the NDC before 2026 June. That is one. Again, when Kazi stood up to say that we need to have NDC to elect the party leadership, that is the only organ in the party that sits to elect the national leadership.
That's it.
You get. My brother Simba, we have a party chairperson that is on Gladys Wanga. She was not elected on our NDC. We have SG Sufuna. He was not elected on the NDC. We have the three party leaders, the three deputy party leaders. They were not elected on the NDC. But these things, they were ratified on the NGC meeting in Mombasa.
That's it.
So when when Winnie calls for the NDC convention to sit down, to elect and take this convention to the people, she's right. And we support wholly from the ODM Youth League position.
That's it.
We need it like yesterday. But we also need to finish these elections which are still pending.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is what is making it a bit complex for us to hold the NDC, ODM.
That's it.
But again, we also need to get it clear that when we stood at the ODM at 20 in Mombasa to speak about the complexity of engaging the UDA party on the broad-based arrangement, it becomes complex truly. Because you remember even then when Enigma, the CGH, was still there with us. We had this and there was a lot of, I'll say there's that mature democracy in ODM. We had dissenting voices from within, those who are not supporting the broad-based arrangement. But again, the broad-based arrangement and the ODM party, this is not a political party. ODM as a party adds its identity. There's one thing we are known for, that we are pro-people, we are pro-mass. We are known for the social justices, standing against the social justices, be it economical, be it political, be it what. So, even in today, when we are seeing the broad-based arrangement, we have the NADCO report that need to be implemented and we're following it up keenly. We have the 10-point agenda as well. So ODM as a party must retain and have that identity to follow up on the broad-based arrangement on the things which were signed.
Yes.
It was not on individual. And Raila Amolo Odinga, when I remember the last, it was the last NGC that Raila Amolo Odinga sat on at Bomas. When Baba was telling us that he would love to see the ODM party live beyond Raila Amolo Odinga. And today we are in that phase that where we want ODM to live beyond Raila Amolo Odinga who was there.
That's it.
So the broad-based arrangement which was there's a committee which was formed to follow up these implementations. But we as a political party with the leadership, we will go and check if UDA and the broad-based arrangement, if they're implementing on the agreed 10 points and the NADCO report. If they fail, how will we entrust them again in 2027 to be with them on the same
That's it. So even as we talk about this, there's something that we have to bring out as well. The conversations on this vacuum, this is exactly how it's coming to light, that Raila Amolo Odinga left the stage when he had not essentially said that once I exit the stage, this is the person that I want to take over the party leadership of ODM, or I would wish that so-and-so takes over the party leadership of ODM. Now, I'll take you through this in 2 stages, if you can allow me. That we do not know, currently as it is, on how Oburu Odinga graduated from interim party leader to the official party leader for ODM. That there are a bit of rumblings that have not come to light with that decision-making process on how he graduated now to be the official party leader of ODM. And I'll tell you where the complaints are coming from. I want to take you back to the official campaigns for the broad-based government in Kasipul. There was one question that Deputy President asked the people of Kasipul, and I'll put it to you. Do you support one Oburu Oginga Odinga as the party leader of ODM? When that question was asked, it was a direct question. It was as if somebody somewhere wanted to push for one Oburu Oginga Odinga to become the party leader for ODM. A couple of months later, after that declaration, Oyer is now the party leader. Could you talk to that? Is that where the question for this vacuum is coming from? Could you take us through the process? How did Oburu Odinga become the party leader of ODM from interim party leader? And that question that was asked at Kasipul, do they support Oburu Oginga as the party leader for ODM? Is the appointment of Oburu Odinga as the party leader for ODM somebody else's wish other than what the party would have wished for?
Thank you very much, my brother, Elijah. First thing before I come to the Kasipul question, as you have put it.
That's it.
You have said when Baba was now being promoted to the glory, he never left us who to take over from him. And maybe in a short history with the Ford, when Jaramogi Odinga was leaving, at least he showed that he could have entrusted Kijana Wamalwa with the party leadership. But Raila Amolo Odinga fought his way up to where he was. The ODM party is the only structured political party with workable, reliable, and capable leadership of individuals. And I think being one of the biggest movements in the region, it will be a lie if we say that he could have appointed someone like now you come take over. Raila Amolo Odinga have mentored over 1,000 leaders in the country who are capable to run the political party ODM. So it is a democratic space. Leaders are there. But even if Dr. Oburu was exit today, I'm still pretty sure that we have many capable leaders to be at the steering wheel of the orange movement.
Yes, and I'm sorry to cut you short. So who is Oburu Odinga addressing when he says, I hear people say that we need to go and sit and rearrange things. Then he says there's nothing to rearrange. Who is he addressing? Is he not addressing that perceived vacuum within ODM currently as it is right now?
That is a third question. I'll touch it. Now, the Kasipul question on ODM. when it was asked that, do you people believe in Dr. Oburu Oginga Odinga to lead
as
the
a
ODM
party leader for
as a
ODM,
party
yes.
leader?
Yes.
And you have also asked me a question like, how did he go to be substantive party leader or from acting party leader? Elijah, when the Central Management Committee sat down here at Chungu House and elected, I'll say that, elected Dr. Oburu Oginga as interim leader, when we went to Mombasa it was on 19th.
Yes.
Or Mombasa 20. The first agenda of the program was the sitting of the National Governing Council that ratified Dr. Oburu Oginga's leadership. That same NGC, National Governing Council, that sworn in the three deputy party leaders, the party chairperson, and Dr. Oburu. There were 5 and other positions. There were swearing-ins which were done. So these things were ratified. The ratification was done by the NGC, National Governing Council. That's how he was made substantive party leader. On the Kasipul question on, do you believe or do you entrust?
That's it. Do you support?
Do you support?
In fact, the question was, do you support?
Do you support?
That's it.
You see, Raila Amolo Odinga at some point had made a very, I'll say, suicidal supporters and believers in him. Making these people to believe in another person like him will take time. So these are questions that will be posted time and time again to these supporters.
Who's posing that question? It was one, Kibera Kindiki was asking the people of Kasipul, do you support one Oburu Oginga Odinga as the party leader for ODM? And they said yes, which is the same question that majority of your critics are posing.
Yes.
Why do we see this question that's getting posed here about the support of Oburu Odinga, and then a couple of weeks later on, your NGC ratifies him as the substantive party leader? Is it somebody's push? Because then within that ratification, Winnie Odinga stands up and says, even after we've done this, we need now to hold party elections and appoint new party leaders who can lead the party in this broad-based government conversation.
Yes. The person posing the question, I've never been a part and a parcel of the ODM party. The person posing the question is having no influence, no voice, no say, no hand in ODM.
But then, within that conversation, when they were in Kasipul, they went there as a broad-based government conversation. In fact, even the likes of Gladys Wanga declared that any other person who's running from UDA, that person is going to be called a broad-based government candidate. Any person running from ODM is going to be called a broad-based government candidate. So within that conversation, they were pushing for one agenda, broad-based government conversation. Within that conversation, a question was asked, do you support Oburu Oginga Odinga as the party leader for ODM? And you could see what the masses were saying, yes, we do support. But then later, a couple of leaders within ODM, they come in and say, no, we don't think Oburu Odinga has what it takes to lead us into the broad-based party conversations.
On election question, as you put it, I think I've told you that these are a work on progress. I've told you why it was not done in Mombasa.
That's it.
I've told you why we, the young task, we, the young people from the youth league of the ODM and other young voices from the ODM party are pushing for this election to be done as early as we can. And that's why I think Kazi Odinga is standing into that gap as well, telling us that we need to have this election. It is not something we need to start off on a clean sheet. It's a work on progress.
I'll come back to you on that as well, because there have been responses on that as well. Because a lot of your leaders have been speaking on this one as well. I'll even tell you what Otenda Molo was speaking about. I've got his quotes here. Let me then take this moment to welcome Mr. Mumbo. How are you doing, sir?
Thank you so much.
Karibu sana. So I'll rope you into this conversation. Oyer has really taken over the show this morning as we're waiting for you to step into the studio. The question is this: when Oburu Oginga Odinga says there is no rearrangement, what are we going to sit and rearrange. There is no vacuum. I am the party leader. Who is he addressing when he stands up where there are ODM party members who are seated in front of him and he says, what rearrangement are we talking about? Is there a leadership vacuum within ODM, just going by these sentiments that Oginga Odinga is putting forward?
Yes, I believe there's a vacuum. But he defies that because, you see, there is nobody he feels that can be able to take up that position. As you know, ODM is a bigger party in the country. Not just in the country, but in the region.
That's it.
So you will find that he's just trying to be able to protect his interests as the party leader for the ODM party. So as he looks behind, there are three deputy party leaders: Simbarati, Abdul Samad Mohammed, and Viga Senator Godfrey Sotsi. So if he looks at these people, he starts imagining, what if maybe he reads on the other page of the things. Maybe he refers back to the ODM constitution, because I know my brother here knows what the ODM constitution says.
That's it.
That why would you Simba be my kin when you can't be able to take over what I've actually left behind after my exit? That is the question he's trying to be able to fill for that case. So for me, I feel there's that vacuum, and out of the three deputy party leaders, I think one of them should be considered as the party leader. Because if you check, when Baba was exiting for AU chairmanship seat, he went for Nyong'o, the Kisumu governor. Why did he go for Nyong'o? There were many people, but he was just an interim party leader. I'm quite certain that if Raila Amolo Odinga woke up today, he will be able to do some other structures within the party that even me and you will not believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is the question that I want to put to you across as well. I mean, all of us were seated watching the campaigns in Kasipul. We were watching it closely, and you could see the party leaders who were sent to campaign for the broad-based candidates in Kasipul. Kithure Kindiki was there, purposely sent just to test exactly how the ground would receive them. There was one question that was put forward. Mumbo, do you support Oginga Odinga as the party leader for ODM? By then, he was an interim party leader. But then they asked, do you support him as the party leader for ODM? The crowds did say that indeed they supported him. Good. Couple of weeks later, when ODM went for the ODM at 20 celebrations in Mombasa, there was an announcement that was made, and there was no announcement that was made. In fact, when they were ratifying these positions, they didn't come out clearly to say, now this is where ODM stands. It was shushed. All of a sudden, his title changed from interim party leader to ODM party leader. Bumbo, do you feel that within the broad-based government conversations, the powers be from both sides, either from UDA or within ODM, they are happy with Oginga Odinga being the party leader? Is it by design that Oginga Odinga is the party leader for ODM, that we overlooked the constitution and said, for what might be, let's go and make him the party leader?
Okay, ODM is bigger than Kasipul. When the people of Kasipul says they support Oginga Odinga, Oburu Oginga as a party leader, I don't think the people of Mombasa have spoken. I don't think the people of Mandera have spoken. I don't think the people of Turkana have spoken. I don't think the people of Samburu have spoken.
That's it.
You see, that is in a campaign rally. Anything happens in a campaign rally. Something can be said in a campaign rally, and that doesn't stamp an authority to say this is it. So for me, in answering your question, I would be able to say it this way. I don't think majority of the people from where I sit support Oburu Oginga's appointment as the ODM party leader. There's still a vacuum. People must be able to go into an election and say, this is the leader we want. And that way, it will be much easier, because remember, ODM doesn't just have some few members. It doesn't just have some few elements to say this is our leader. ODM as a bigger party within the country, it needs to be able to go into an election.
Yes.
Even if there is somebody, they need to be able to nominate people within that basket and say, this is the way forward. We are having these candidates.
That's it.
How do we go about it? I think the reason to us why ODM is fumbling in between getting a formidable party leader, it's because of the regional balance. They are still thinking, where do we take it? And you see, if we continue that way, Simba, trust me, ODM will remain a regional party. Give it 5 years. Because people are going to look into it, like let's say, for example, what do you think the supporters of Abdul Samad Mohammed are thinking about? What do you think the people of, the supporters of Simba Arati are thinking about as the deputy party leader? What do you think the supporters of Viga Senator Osoti are thinking about? That the deputy party leader, the deputy party leader for that case cannot be considered for this position whatsoever the case. Once you get to that level of being a deputy party leader, that is the end of you. You can be able to get into another position, but not the party leader. When will they become the party leaders? Because for Raila Amolo Odinga to be able to give these people the positions of the deputy party leaders, he had entrusted them. He had given them trust, a lot of trust. He felt that there's a regional balance when I choose this person, person A, person B, person C. But now, when it comes to the party position, being the party leader, that is where we draw the line. I don't think ODM has done justice to its deputy party leaders for that case.
That's it. Oh yeah, if you can allow me, I'm going to give him 2 minutes because I want to bring up to speed up on exactly where we are before we take a tiny breather. Mumbo, Winnie Odinga stands up, and we can't sit here and say that she wasn't informed of the decisions that the NGC had already made when they had gone to Mombasa, ratifying those positions within ODM, making one Oburu Odinga the party leader for ODM. She was well informed. She stood up and declared in front of all the ODM delegates, and Oyer was there in Mombasa. I said, look here, the current party leaders that we have, they do not have what it takes to lead this party into these broad-based government conversations. That the only person who knew exactly what this entailed was one Raila Amolo Odinga, my dad. He's no more. She then looked at the party leaders of ODM and said, the best way for us now as a party is to hold party elections, have new leaders who can lead this party into this conversation, because as it stands, you can't say that you understand it. The only person who understood it was one Raila Amolo Odinga. That is immediately after the NGC had met and ratified these positions. Is that the vacuum that every other person in that party sees, but Oyer doesn't want to speak to this morning?
Yeah. When Winnie Odinga speaks, of course, you know, she speaks on behalf of the party. She was more closer to Baba than anybody else. And if you look at it in the political point of view, what she's only trying to be able to communicate for this case is that she's telling the other deputy party leaders that there's no vacuum. There's no space for them to take up ODM. What ODM members don't want to take up or to understand is that they don't want to be able to take the party to the other regions. Because for me, I believe the party leadership could be able to go even to another region.
Yes.
But you see, for Winnie Odinga and what she believes
is
that the party should be able to remain in the region. And that's why I'm telling you, anybody else could be able to close the tabs on the same. But ODM in the coming years will remain a regional party. Why am I saying so? These are the people, like, I would not want to remain in my position for the rest of my life. I will go either start up my party or look for the party whereby I can be a leader for that case. Because I cannot be able to remain in the deputy party leader position for the rest of my life. That's what other members are feeling. That is what other leaders are feeling. The leaders in the name of Babu Wino. You heard Babu Wino speak.
Yes.
He says that he cannot be trusted with any party position. Why? He asks that question. And you see, when he's actually saying that, he believes there's nobody who can be able to give him that opportunity to become a leader in any positions of the party.
That's it.
So for me, when Winnie Odinga speaks, of course, you know, majority of the ODM members, leadership, especially when they are speaking coding the UDA, coding the broad-based government. But again, if you look at it at the other point, are the other members happy? Like, let's say, for instance, if you put 10 members here, then now you look at them, you ask them questions. I'm quite certain that it will be either 50-50, whereby people will be supporting the ODM being in the broad-based, and another faction actually not saying that we are not happy with the broad-based.
Yes.
What I feel is that ODM has not been able to do justice in terms of actually coming up with the party structures and getting a formidable party leader who is able to take the party to the next level. Like, if you hear people talking about somebody leading ODM to the broad-based, that is not what ODM stands for. That is not what ODM stands for. My brother can be able to tell you that. ODM doesn't stand for taking its members or taking its leadership or taking its faction into the broad-based government. They have an agenda. When you hear Sifuna talk, Sifuna says, we have candidates seated here who can be presidents, including even myself. We can unseat the sitting president. What is he trying to communicate? But when he says that, he becomes a mole. In the likes of Caleb Amisi, MP Saboti.
That's it.
When they're actually speaking, you will be like, you will even hate them when you are a staunch ODM member or supporter for that case. So for me, I still feel in ODM leadership there is still a vacuum, a big one.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know what? You have a lot to respond to once we come from this break, because I want us to take a 2-minute break. Once we come back, you're going to get your chance to respond to this. And Mumbo, also you've been addressed this morning, and I'll read this one from Ocheng as we step out. This is what Ocheng is saying. Good morning, sir. You know you owe me tea. Let's meet before the end of this year. And this is what Ocheng is saying. Let's be honest. Mumbo should tell us that Oburu Odinga is the appointment of one President Dr. William Ruto to ODM party leadership. Why? He is well briefed. He looks like a man who's got no trouble, just to continue a conversation behind closed doors, just like Raila Amolo Odinga did with one President Dr. William Ruto. So let's say it. Oburu Odinga is a President William Ruto appointment in ODM. Once we come back, the two gentlemen that we have in the studio have their fair share cake placed in front of their table just to come in and try and munch on it. But do you believe that indeed there's a vacuum within ODM? Yes, who spoke as well? Kalonzo Musyoka has been speaking, a conversation between old friends and new friends, and he sounded a warning that even when you get new friends, do not forget that your old friends are also looking at you and they mean good. What did he mean? Once we come back right here on The Morning Drift, my name is Simba Elijah Charles Kenge. You can participate. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. Our WhatsApp lines are just right there on your screen. Talk to us whenever you can. Good morning. See you on the other side of the break.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I love music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like, I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
What do you believe? Do you believe that there's a vacuum within ODM? When you look at the conversations that are coming from the leaders, Oburu Odinga is saying, and I do not know, Oyer has to tell us this morning, when Oburu Odinga stands up and says, what are you going to rearrange? What are you seeking to rearrange? I am the party leader. Who is he speaking to? As a safety net if the government deal fails. He's telling ODM, even as you get new friends, remember very well that your old friends are still here. So as you respond to what Mumbo presented this morning, I also want to touch on this warning from Kalonzo Musyoka, who's speaking to ODM, telling them, look here, your old friends are still your friends. Remember that.
Thank you very much, Elijah.
First things first, ODM will remain in the next 20, in the next 40 or 60 years. I think we have a very vibrant, functionable ODM Youth League. That's like a feeder to the ODM party. It is surprising this, my brother, saying that in the next 5 years, ODM may be a regional party. That's very wrong. This party is here to stay, my brother. And I'm promising you that the vibrance we're having from that league of the ODM party, there is like a feeder. As they say that the old, now like our party leader, Oburu Odinga, has experience. We have energy and the power to push that experience to the greater scales. When Oburu Odinga was being, I'll say, being fronted by the Central Management Committee, the proposal of his leadership was the deputy party leaders. And the person who proposed him to be the party leader was Nasir, the governor of Mombasa.
Yes.
That's the party leader, the deputy party leader from Mombasa. The person who seconded Dr. Oburu Odinga's leadership, then as acting party leader, was Paul Simba Arati, the governor of Kisii, the deputy party leader. The ratification was not done on a boardroom by some people, but was done by the structure of the party, the second largest structure of the party after the NDC, that was the NGC, which was done in Mombasa. I think this I said before he came in. So the leadership and the fronting of the Dr. Oburu Odinga's leadership of the party was done within the party structures and the highest organ of the party, the highest organ of the party, who fronted its leadership and its position. My brother, when you say like someone like Paul Ongil, that is Babu Owino. Babu Owino is the secretary to the education and IT affairs in the ODM party, in the structure of the party. But these are structure that these are leadership roles that he was entrusted with that he have never taken serious at any point. He has been just aiming for other things. First, let him deliver for this person that he was entrusted with. How would him to be more innovative and educative as a political party? Babu Owino is having that role. He's not performing it. Up to date, we are asking ourselves, why he's not performing it?
Yes.
When you talk about the dissenting voices, there are dissenting voices which are even bought. There's dissenting voices which I want to break the ODM party. That will not allow. If you listen to the sentiments from one you have mentioned here, that is the MP for Sabauti, Caleb Amisi. His voices, or his dissenting voices, not to build ODM and hold it together. There's some dissenting voices, though we are a very democratic party, but some will just filter and leave them where they are without engaging them further. But S.D. Sufuna, also correction, Winnie Odinga does not speak on behalf of the party. This party has a structure, and we have a spokesperson that speaks on behalf of the party.
Yes.
There are two people who should be speaking on behalf of the party. Not the party chairperson, not the deputy party leaders, not the political affairs leader, but it is the SG of the party. And today it is Edwin Sifuna.
Yes.
Or now the party leader. So the person who speaks on the behalf of the party is Edwin Sifuna, but party members are having room to ventilate their thoughts and voices. And Winnie Odinga, being one of the party members, she's right to vent and give her thoughts on the direction that party need to take. It is wrong to quote Winnie, that Winnie want the party to remain in one region, or the party to have a leadership that comes from one region. That is not the vision of the ODM party. ODM party was not born from a region. It was born out of the struggle. It was born out of resilience. It was born out of the street and reforms that we needed as a country.
Yes.
And that's what we still believe in strongly.
And true to what you're saying, I mean, the people that you mentioned there, one, Edwin Sifuna, who's the party SG. Yes. He's a man we do know very well that even your party members themselves have been fighting. That his position is not viewed as a broad-based government conversation. Edwin Sifuna is saying that what we do know is that this deal that we are in is supposed to take us all the way to 2027, nothing beyond that. I mean, every time he stands up to speak that, party members are fighting him.
Elijah?
Yes.
And I'm a party member. There's nobody fighting SG Edwin Sifuna.
I'll give you a couple.
The first things.
I'll give you an example.
There's no problem.
I'll give you a couple of examples.
Give me examples. Let me give the position.
Can I give you one?
Before you give me an example, let me give you the position.
That's it.
A stronger ODM, a stronger party is what we believe in. Broad-based it's not a ODM, it's not a party. In fact, when you're saying in here that we're having broad-based candidates, we're having ODM candidates in Kasipul, in Ogonja. We're having ODM candidates in these positions, not broad-based candidates. We need to set things clear here, Elijah. That is one. Number two.
Is that what it is? Because I want you to address
that is what it is.
Because when I say just hold on. When I say broad-based candidates, it's not a term that I coined myself. It's a term that your party members are coining themselves. It's a term that was coined by Gladys Wanga herself. That's it. Yes.
I want to say here.
Yes, Mumbo. Give him 1 minute so that it clears this before you come in, Mumbo.
Okay. When Sifuna stood or stands to speak, he speaks on behalf of the ODM party, not the broad-based thing. And again, as he puts it, and that's where we are. If you remember, Baba said that, who told you? We are having a pact until 2027, and then we will come and check. I think I stated it here. We have 10-point agenda that need to be implemented.
That's it.
We have NADGO report that need to be implemented. If the government of the day may fail to implement this agenda, then we'll have to relook our engagement with them into the future. But again, as he puts it, who said that ODM was formed to run up and down on the street? Or this political party ODM was formed, and we still believe, to form government or to be part of government.
That's it.
And that's what we're going to pursue. For us to implement the agenda that we have for the country, we must be part and parcel of the government that we either form or we have friends to form the government with.
Mumbo, a couple of issues that I want to respond to, but even as you speak to that, I also want you to touch on that Kalonzo conversation of do not forget that you also have old friends. He sort of positioned himself as the safe net in case this conversation for broad-based government essentially fails. And you can see that within ODM, there are those who are for it, and there are those who are not for it, absolutely. That's where we stand now. And that's where this vacuum essentially is saying that you have a party leader who's not come out clearly to say, look here, it's going to be us. We're going to have a presidential candidate all the way into the 2027 general elections, and this is exactly what we want. And I'm not confused here this morning. Yeah, we've got to take that into note as well, because even Oburu Odinga has even come out and given us a very famous quote that it's DP or nothing else. It's a conversation that has come from the party leader as well. When you come in and say it's DP or nothing else, aren't you then resigning to the fact that we will not form that government? We want to be part of the government that you guys are forming. So give us a position, Mumbo.
Okay, two things to respond to my brother here.
Yes.
When will my brother become the ODM party leader if he's still thinking about Oburu Odinga being the party leader? Because he's here telling us that ODM is a stronger party and it believes in democracy, which is okay. If its deputy party leaders are not becoming a party leader, for him as a youth league leader, when will he become the party leader of that party in the next coming 30, 40 years? That is my question to him. Number two, I want to be able to respond something to him to do with the spokesperson of the party.
That's it.
He has responded it very well, that ODM spokesperson as a party is the one Nairobi Senator and SG of ODM, Edwin Sifuna, which I totally agree with. But again, I want to be able to ask him a question. Does he believe when Edwin Sifuna says that there is nothing like broad-based? Does he believe, is it true when Edwin Sifuna says that ODM, even if it backs William Ruto in 2027, they will still not really be able to win an election? Does he believe in that? Because if you're telling me that I'm the spokesperson of the family, if I tell you this family is not eating for the next 7 days, do you believe that what I'm actually talking about is true? So for him, I agree with him that Edwin Sifuna is the spokesperson of the party. So I also want to believe that when Sifuna says that the arrangement they have with William Ruto is only pegged some 10-point plan agenda, which does not really need to go beyond 2027.
Yes.
But again, if you look into it, I want him to be able to respond to that after I finish what I want to be able to respond to about Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka. So generally, I think there is a problem when it comes to that.
Yes.
Edwin Sifuna totally speaks a different language. You remember him even speaking a different language with the ODM party leader, the late Raila Odinga, in a burial, where he says something about then the party leader says poa kidogo, hii mambo haitaki haraka. Then now he corrects him. You get the point. So, but again, Raila Odinga will be able to come up just like my brother here and tells you that ODM spokesperson is the one Edwin Sifuna. What are they trying to communicate to the people? What are they trying to communicate to the party leaders? When he says that there's no broad-based candidates, chairman of the party, not anybody else, not Mumbo, not you Simba, not any other person, says these are broad-based government candidates. Where he even complains in Kasipul, even Kaluma complained in Kasipul, that there are people from the government side, from the UDA side, who are coming to campaign for independent or other candidates, and yet there is a broad-based government. What does he want me to believe? What does he want somebody who is not even in the political arena to believe?
Yes.
You get the point? So that is my fight, that is my talk, that is what I stand for.
Yes.
That he needs to be able to come out clear and tell us, these are the party structures, this is the person who speaks for the party. Is he trying to communicate that the one chairman, the ODM chairman, Gladys Wanga, doesn't speak for the party? Whatever he's trying to communicate is her own personal views. Is that what he's trying to communicate for that case? So I totally differ. And I say that if ODM spokesperson is the one SG Edwin Sifuna, then now he understands, or me and you understand, what the ODM party stands for as a party.
Which has been quite clear from Edwin Sifuna, isn't it? I mean, every time Edwin Sifuna stands to speak, we do know what he wants the party, the direction that the party is supposed to take. Now, let me give you a couple of examples then. Atandi comes up and speaks. And he tells the party Secretary General, Bwana, don't think that you're the only one who can be a Secretary General for this party. That we have people within this party who can serve as better Secretary Generals. Don't think that you're the only one who can serve this party. And he was responding to Edwin Sifuna saying the party needs to steer away from these broad-based government conversations. That we need a clear strategy for 2027, other than the broad-based government conversations. Gladys Wanga stands up and says, well, any other person who's running on ODM is a broad-based party candidate. Any other person who's running on UDA is a broad-based party candidate. Sort of also speaking as a party chair. So when these two speak, who should, not two, that's a wrong question, when these three speak, that is the party leader, the party SG, the party chairperson, who should we be listening to? Is that not the vacuum that we are talking about right now? Because before Raila Amolo Odinga departed, we couldn't hear these conversations. It was a clear strategy. It was one word, and we knew exactly what ODM was. This confusion that we're seeing here right now, is that not the vacuum that we are talking about here this morning? Why can't you admit and say, well, you guys might be right about this?
Thank you, Simba. First, Kalonzo, I'm sorry I didn't touch on it. Kalonzo has been a good, not only friend, but a good friend and a partner of ODM for the longest. That is 15 years, running with us, ran with us as the deputy president for 2 years, for 2 terms, that is 10 years. And then 2022, he ran and it was to be the prime, I think prime cabinet, prime minister, something like that. So as he puts it, we are not forgetting Kalonzo.
That's it.
And as Mama Hida also quoted it somewhere, that in politics we're not having permanent enemies and friends. There's nothing barring us finding ourselves again working with Kalonzo Musyoka. We haven't sealed a complete deal with the UDA party as we speak. And again, we don't have problems with Kalonzo Musyoka. We have problems with the friends he's working with. So maybe we may find a way of working with the Wiper Democratic Front into 2027 and into the future. And I think when he sheds off some of his friends that we may not mention here. Number 2 is we, the ODM party, our stability is very key to us into the future. Yeah. And the government that we must be part of in 2027, we must be part of presidency. And the presidency is the president or deputy president. That is one. The government that we, the ODM party, are looking forward to form or to be part of, we must have the highest number of MPs and senators in these houses, and have the leadership of these houses as well. The government that the ODM party is looking forward to form or to be part of, we must have stakes in the cabinets and other positions of the country to influence and change how things are being done.
Yes.
So it is not only on the president or on the deputy president. Deputy president is part of presidency. When Dr. Buru Odinga speaks about presidency, there's nothing barring us from fielding a presidential candidate.
But it's been clear. But it's been clear. I mean, every time that has been pushed to speak on this issue, the only quote that we have from him is, look here, it's DP or nothing. So when you say it's DP or nothing, a deputy president, we do know it's a given position. It's a given position. It's not a position that you stand as, you can't, ODM cannot field a deputy president.
Exactly. In our constitution, DP is not given. It is part and parcel of presidency.
That's it,
apart from the president that we had with the Gachagua and so on.
That's it, but a president chooses their running mate.
On agreements.
Is it not?
On agreements.
A president chooses a running mate, isn't it? But then after that, they are voted for by the people, isn't it?
Together, jointly, on a joint ticket.
That's it. So when the ODM says, and here I'm speaking about what the party leader says, when the ODM says, well, it's a deputy president or nothing, are you not resigning to the fact that that's a position that you want to be given? As opposed, you fielding an independent candidate from ODM.
My brother Elijah. Nimesema na nasema that we must be part of presidency. And presidency has 2 people.
That's it.
That deputy president talking about is not just being picked.
Is that where the conversation then breaks for the party? That within the party of ODM, there are members like you, who are saying we want to be part of the presidency, but there are members who are saying we want to field a presidential candidate.
Exactly. Even if you were to work with the Wiper today, Kalonzo, we will say the same thing. That Bwana Stephen Wakili Kalonzo Musyoka We must be part of presidency, where we are sitting and where we are as ODM party. We have members who are qualified to run this country.
Is it the terms?
I think it's just the terms.
Is this the terms that we're not getting right this morning? Because we have two terms here. It's either you want to be part of the presidency or you want to field the presidency. Because being part of the presidency, that's a position that you're given to. And that's what Mugo was saying this morning, that ODM's foundation is essentially not on negotiation, that you've been dictating terms as it were in previous elections. But now, as it stands, there are members within the party, and the feeling of Oburu Odinga was also included, who want to be part of a negotiation, that you're taking the party into negotiation, as opposed to you dictating your terms as a party. And that's where the division comes in. That within that, Oburu Odinga has failed to clearly communicate the direction of the party. That look here, as it stands, this deal is all the way to 2027. We are out in the market as a party. As it stands now, Oburu Odinga is created the feeling that ODM is going into a negotiation in 2027. Is that what it is? Oh, yeah.
ODM as a political party as structures, as my brother Mumbu was putting it.
That's it.
And the structures and the leadership of the party will sit down collectively and decide on who to work with. That is one. And I think apart from 2007 that ODM ran as an independent party without maybe being in coalition or alliance.
Yes.
We are looking forward to being an alliance again or a coalition come 2027. And I think these are the terms that we are going to go in with. That is just one of the terms that the party leader put forward. I think you'll remember again, even in 2022, we had terms and conditions. Today, ODM as political party, and that's why we are at the center of the political conversation in the country.
That's it.
We are the only party that will tilt, sway, and influence the position of the direction that the country will take politically. There's nothing that can still take us off from the hooks of the conversation.
That's it.
I'm telling you, even in that united opposition, that nothing's uniting them, they are still having the ODM conversation in their tables. You get. So the ODM party and our terms, we are at the center to influence, tilt, sway, and also dictate on which side that the political conversation will take.
That's it. Mumbo.
Just before you come to Mumbo,
yes,
there are two things here that you touched on, maybe Simbarati, not Simba, but Atandi and Gladys Wanga and so on the position. Like now, Atandi is a busybody. You can't compare and discuss Atandi when we were going to discuss SD Sifuna and the Nairobi Senator. The position that Sifuna has been holding for 8 years. Atandi is, I think, the chairperson of the budget in the parliament. We need to respect our party leadership and the structure. Atandi is not in the structure of the party and the leadership. So you can't come to tell us that the people are better than Sifuna to hold the position of the ASG. When Sifuna, maybe we will get tired of him. We'll have the NDC as he puts it, that will have the election. Atandi and other busybodies need to respect the party structure and the leadership of the party. We from the ODM Youth League, we'll have to protect this ODM party and the leadership with our sweat, blood, and strength as we can. And then lastly, there are voices that may be talking, yes, but a collective voice of the party will always overshadow the individual positions. Maybe today, Gladys Nyasuna Wanga, the party chairperson, at some point she may give our individual position and voice, but a collective party position and voice overshadows individual position. And that's one thing even His Excellency, the CGS now gone to the glory, Raila Amolo Odinga, respected too much, so much. The party collective position was much superior and still remains superior over individual voice and concern.
That's it, pretty much. Gentlemen, we have 8 minutes left of this conversation. I will point you out to what the rest of the party members are also speaking about. This is Orengo, who's saying, some of us, now that we hold positions, we think we can dictate the party direction. That's one quote that we've gotten from Orengo. And then Nasir also says, this Governor Nasir was also saying, that we will not be in opposition in a 20 2027. So when we look at this two quotes, especially the one from Governor Nasir, who's saying that we're not going to be in opposition in 2027. But when we ask the ODM party, who's your presidential candidate, we still don't have it. The party leader is saying something different. It's DP or nothing else. Governor Orengo is here saying, well, now that some of you hold positions, you think you can come back and dictate the party direction. He warned them from dictating the party direction and called on ODM to stand for what it was meant to stand for. And we've known his position from time memorial. I mean, Mumbo, you and I, this is, I mean, when we stand there and see what ODM members are speaking about, they're not speaking on the same script. All of them are either pro broad-based government conversation or completely opposing the broad-based government conversations as it stands now. Do you think now it beholds the party leader to come out and put these leaders in the same position, say, this is where the party is going toward, and I need you guys to come and support, so that it is 2026 for crying out loud. It is just 1 year to the general election, and we do not know where ODM stands right now, as it were. Do you think now Oginga Odinga has to come out and say, look here, all these dissenting conversations that I'm hearing within the party need to stop. This is where we are leading the party toward. It's either you're in or you're out.
Okay, I'll go back to James Orengo's remarks on
As a dissenting voice for that case.
That's it.
This is somebody who doesn't believe in the broad-based government from his remarks. And the person is actually trying to address for that case when he talks about, do you think you'll be able to come from outside and dictate the direction of the party? He's actually directing those remarks to one CS mining Ali Joho,
yes,
the former Mombasa governor, because there are many conversations, especially in Mombasa when there was ODM at 20, and he tells these people, he gives his own remarks on what it takes by having that party in order. He's trying to communicate to them that you cannot be able to come from wherever you want to come from and give the direction to the party. So Orengo is just one of the people that were actually not happy with ODM coming up together to form a broad-based government. You see, one thing ODM has never wanted, that is my former party, by the way. I was a life member before I moved.
Yes.
I'm able to, I'll be announcing my party. So one thing that I believed in ODM more than anybody else did. I think if there's anybody who believed in ODM more than myself, is Baba. So if you look at it this way, Orengo is trying to communicate the direction of the party. And that direction, and I think the people who are speaking Orengo's language, who are outside Luo Nyanza region, are the likes of Kinakaleba Misi and Edwin Sifuna.
Yes.
So if you look at them and if you look at them talk on in the political stages, you'll be able to imagine what ODM wants. So the two factions in ODM, the one that supports the broad-based and the one that doesn't support broad-based, in Orengo's view and what he thinks, ODM should be able to go beyond 2027 with other people, not the sitting, not the current government.
Yes.
So looking at it, I think it's going to be very difficult for ODM in the coming stages, because when they think about when they start thinking about the DP position as per their party leader, the current party leader, where are they placing the current deputy president? Where will he be for that case? Will we have the two deputies? The current one and the one that ODM is bringing on the table? That should be the question. So for ODM, I think they should be prepared. If you ask my brother, like let's say for instance right now, is ODM in government or not? They'll take you back to the 10-point plan agenda that they had with the sitting president. But if you look at it, ODM is deeply into government. Look at the CSs, the experts who came on board to be able to support the government. That is what Orengo is opposing. That when you are given a CS position, it doesn't mean that you can come to be able to dictate the direction of the party ODM.
That's it.
You sit on a different level whereby you cannot dictate the direction of the party. So for me, I think Orengo is speaking a different language from these other people.
That's it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. We have 2 minutes left, and I only want you to take 45 seconds to respond to this, and you Mumbo 45 seconds as well. There's a major part of that agreement that we've not seen coming to part, the NATCO report. Oh yeah, is the NATCO report dead? Why haven't we seen it getting implemented? 45 seconds.
Thank you. The NATCO report, on my end, I think that should be in good. I'm not from UDA party, so from the I think we have been forefront pushing for implementation of this NADCO report, and that's why time and time again I've been mentioning it in here, that we need that thing to be implemented.
Yes.
They ought to have been implemented a long time.
That's it.
So that's a question that maybe those on the other side need to tell us why they are delaying the implementation.
That's it.
Of the NADCO report. Just in 1 second, as you put it.
Yes.
ODM as a political party, as Governor Nasir and the deputy party leader was putting it, was not formed to be in opposition. We were formed to form government, and we will not just sit, relax, and wait to be in opposition.
That's it.
We want to be parcel of a government or form a government to implement the agenda that we have been having for the country since 2007.
That's it.
Yes.
Pretty much. Mumbo, the NATCO report, do you think that the broad-based government conversation has overtaken the NATCO report implementation?
Broad-based government to me is already an implementation of the NATCO report. Because to me, from where I sit, there is no Azimio, there is ODM. You get the point? So for me, I believe NADCO report through ODM has already been accomplished. If I said anything beyond that, I think I would be contradicting my sentiments.
I see a year smiling next to Mumbo on that one. Do you believe that indeed the NATCO report is ODM and there's nothing more to look into that other than just what we're currently seeing? Check them back online to the Time That Agenda this morning and Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. I know some majority of you have contributed, but I was not able then to go in and just see exactly what you've been saying or sharing this morning, who's been writing to us. Thank you very much. I'll see you another day for another conversation. Gentlemen, thank you very much. All right, goodbye. And that's it. See you.